This is not a test. Don't expect to be impressed. Put on your life vest. Sit down your armrest. It's time to stray from the grind. Don't take my hand, 'cause you'll find no peace of mind. Side quest.
Hi there, and welcome to Side Quest, the in-between episodes we do when we're not adventuring. We like to just talk crap at each other. Sometimes we have a guest to help us do that. Sometimes we don't. Today we're just going to be talking about cool television, because there's a lot of it happening. But before we get into it, who do we have with us today? We have myself, Steve Weverill, we have John Hartness, Rick Walteri, Robert Bevan, and Joe.
You don't get a last name anymore.
No, I forgot. I was about to say Bevan's name wrong. It threw me completely off.
You were going to call Bevan Rick, weren't you? And then you were like, no, wait, I just said Rick. God damn it.
Okay, right. It's 1 a.m. where I am Joseph Brassi.
Yay!
Way to vamp. Way to vamp while you look that up.
Authorsanddragons.com.
Joining us today, the same guy who joins us every week. Let me just Google this. Joseph Brassi?
Look, you did one better than most telemarketers. You didn't call me Bracy.
Although now I may never call you anything else.
Oh, God.
I didn't call you anything. I just made a vowel noise, basically. Yeah, well, it is late where I am. A reason I've been staying up late. Not just for the podcast. I've been catching up on some important television developments. Finally, Peacemaker has landed in the UK. So I watched the first episode of that. I also watched the freshly launched Moon Knight.
You've been deprived of the Peacemaker opening sequence for this whole time?
I've definitely watched it a lot on YouTube, but
okay.
This is the first time I watched it in context. Context matters.
That would feel like a sad exit. Also, there are parts of that intro that will make way more sense after like the third episode.
It's not so sad.
It's kind of weird that, like, we have all this stuff, the internet and all this shit, and it's like still like, we have these back alley deals where it's like, oh no, we can't show you this show for 6 months or so.
Yeah, we still have to pretend this is normal television for some fucking reason. Yeah, I haven't worked it out, but I've seen it now, so I'm going to stop being bitter about it. And Disney, in fairness, launched Moon Knight at the same time globally across the world, as it should be. I've got to say, I'm not, Marvel Comics-wise, not a Moonlight fan. When I was reading comics, he showed up now and then, and I think that was back before he got very interesting. I think back then he was just a mercenary who got vague moon powers now and then. But now it's all gone kind of disassociative personalities, and apparently he's got very interesting since I was last in comics. So I was looking forward to this.
He's had a bunch of different origins. I think he started off kind of like a bleached out Marvel Batman.
Yeah, that's when I was reading.
That was definitely the impression that a lot of the earlier stuff sort of gave when it was just promo images and things.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm getting that's... I have not seen Moon Knight, full disclosure, so I'm just here.
I will admit, as much as I've always liked Moon Knight's costume, it was always been like, okay, Batman is dressed kind of dark and stuff, fades into the shadows. Moon Knight's not hiding from fucking anybody.
Right. I'm like, okay, so you're only gonna be able to sneak up on somebody in Antarctica or Wisconsin, someplace with lots of snow.
They've got criminals in Wisconsin, John. It's valid.
God, that would be awesome if Moon Knight was just about some random guy, just some guy just beating up people in Wisconsin.
That's what happens if they hire one of us to write it. Moon Knight's this fat schlub who pries himself out of his recliner once every couple of weeks to walk around and beat the shit out of a mugger and, I don't know, leave a moon pie on his chest. I've now created Redneck Moon Knight.
That would explain why he's called Moon Knight as well.
I moved up from Mississippi and I didn't know what to do with my clan outfit, so...
Oh, Jesus, no!
Oh my god, I now have the whole story made. I think it has to be a Shingles.
Fortunately, Marvel are better people than us.
Jesus,
so that is
a low fucking bar.
Well, like you said about Moon Knight, he's had like a dozen kind of reboots as they try and find a story as interesting as the character looks. Because I just thought he looked cool. I bought an action figure from my stepson and everything, but I was not interested in, he gets slightly stronger when the moon is out. Well, so do most drunks. That doesn't impress me. But I guess we're going to be getting the definitive years of people trying to make him interesting in this series. And I'm here for it. I'm interested. I would just like to say, before we talk about it, I'm just going to lay this down so it looks like I made an interesting prediction. Because when the trailer came out, I said, quite publicly, man, the Moonlight trailer looks really great until Moonlight.
You keep calling him Moonlight.
Yes.
What is it, Bruce Campbell showing up?
That's Bruce Willis.
Oh. Look, we're all very tired.
Moonlight is the low calorie.
Yeah, I basically, when I saw the trailer, I was like, wow, Oscar Isaac, this Moon Knight trailer looks really sweet until Moon Knight happens, and then it looks like a PlayStation 2 video cutscene.
Yeah. That tracks.
And I can just transplant that impression directly onto the first episode of Moon Knight.
Yeah, the first episode felt a lot more about him dealing with his shit than superhero shit.
Yeah, but I loved all that. I thought that was interesting and funny. And then the CGI cape happened, and I was like, oh, that's a bit cheap.
We never saw him throw a punch in that first episode.
No, they had this spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Moon Knight or Moonlight.
Yeah, by the way, we're going to spoil the fuck out of this, so watch it or skip.
Oh, wait, stop.
By the time you start to give a shit, Bob, you'll have forgotten anything we say.
Yeah, that's true. I'll be in the next life.
I thought the dissociative personality thing was really cool, and the fact that this guy doesn't know he's a badass mercenary who just occasionally takes over his body and he keeps on snapping out of it after the really expensive fight choreography is finished.
Yeah.
I thought, that's cool. Also, fiscally responsible. Well done, Disney.
Until you throw half a dozen fucking SUVs off the side of a mountain.
That's true.
They fucked up some vehicles.
It was also a way for Disney to be like, oh, this is a gritty adult thing. We're just not going to show you the gritty adult thing so your kids can watch this.
Speaking of gritty adult things, the Marvel Netflix shows are now on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Did they cut the very adulty stuff? No. Okay.
No.
Wow.
I've been making my way through Daredevil and Punisher, and it's funny. I actually just finished season 2 of Punisher a few minutes ago, and it's in stark contrast because you get a little bit of blood in Moonlight. I'm saying Moonlight in Moon Knight, as opposed to the Punisher, which is 13 episodes of just people getting their faces shot off.
Yeah, I had to adjust the parental settings on my Disney Plus account. I didn't even know I had parental settings on it.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I was sitting there watching, where the hell is Moon Knight or Moonlighting with Bruce Willis? Couldn't find either of them. But I had to adjust my. Apparently, this is them getting a bit tasty with the gore. But then again, all of that was just implied in a dissociative episode. So again, they're just covering a lot of bases with that.
Yeah, Disney has that plausible deniability. They can always show the scene and be like, oh, he just tripped and fell into a vat of jam.
Yeah, several people were beaten to death, but we didn't show it. Huh?
No. This was just, fun with jelly.
That's a whole different set of parental controls.
Damn it, Joe. Let me say something. Not Joe. Sorry, John.
None of us are getting names right tonight.
I was wondering. I was like, did I take Fun with Jelly away from Bob? Were there plans?
Don't take Fun with Jelly away from Bob. It's all he's got.
I had one joke.
Sorry, dude.
All right, can we just agree for the rest of the podcast to get names right? We're being stunningly unprofessional, and this is typically our least professional podcast. The side quest when we just decide to talk about television. Very relaxed. I think we need to step up the getting the people we've been on a podcast with for 5 years names right. I think we need to at least do that.
Moonlight.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a section of the internet that's devoted to that kink.
I don't want to see it that bad.
Half the calories, all the Oscar Isaac.
I will say, I enjoyed it, but there was one part of the show that I was just like, it felt cringy to me.
I know what you're going to say.
So once again, we're doing spoilers here. So F. Murray Abraham is in the show as well, and he apparently plays essentially the voice of God. And it's such an awful voiceover.
It really was.
Yeah, it's just like it's almost like a narrator just breaking the fourth wall. You know, like oh, these characters are fucking stupid.
Oh, the idiot is back.
Yeah.
It's like, the fuck are you talking to, dude?
Yeah, I think it was a lot to do with the way it was recorded as well. I see what they were trying to do, but it definitely felt like we'll record this now and do it properly later before this goes live.
And then they forgot that do it later part?
Yes, that's my theory. I could be wrong.
I really thought it was the same guy that voiced Venom. Because I just watched Venom for the first time I don't know, time is weird, recently. And I swear it sounds like the same guy.
Yeah, that's kind of
not.
That's what kind of also bothered me. It's like I don't really like it in Venom either, but I really didn't like it in this, and it was just like, you know, every time he spoke, it was like just dragging me out of the show.
That's the thing. They use the same technique in Venom, where it's clearly overdubbed, and they've made no effort to try to immerse it into the environment of what we're seeing. But you can forgive it in Venom because Venom's dumb. It's a dumb movie, and it's fun, and Venom as a character is stupid and silly. When it happened in this, I didn't get the impression that it was trying to be dumb. It just kind of came off as a bit unfinished and let the quality of the rest of the episode down a little bit. And here's a very real possibility, I'm going to bring up a sound nerd problem. There's a really good chance that your TV just is not balanced at all to the way people sound edit these days. You might be one of the very many people who have been watching television for the past 5 or 6 years going, why does everything sound like dog shit? And it's not you. This is an industry problem.
I feel so much better about my life now because I've absolutely been watching TV for the past 5 or 6 years, wondering why everything sounds like dog shit.
Yes.
And have no idea how to balance anything in my life or my television, and this just became a very personal introspective statement, and I don't think I like it.
No, I'm with you there. I mean, as much as I love, you know, flat screen TVs, I kind of there was something about the simplicity of a ridiculously heavy tube TV where you just turned it on and it worked, as opposed to like, you know, I have an instruction manual that's like 1,600 pages long for my, like, you know, for my TV, and I didn't read any of it.
And it's only available online as a PDF.
If you're at home and you're watching the TV and you're turning it right up to hear the dramatic whispered dialogue, and then shitting yourself as an explosion happens and blows out your windows, that's not your fault. There's something going on with sound mixing at the moment and domestic televisions. We'll get to the bottom of it, but not today. We're not talking about that today. This has been a derail.
For today, turn on the subtitles and keep the volume down to a reasonable level. Otherwise, you're going to shit yourself.
Or
absolutely.
I have one of those Roku sound bars. They're pretty cheap. They're only like $100.
That's nice.
And they have a dialogue mode in it where they just turn everybody's voice up so you can actually hear what the fuck they're saying.
No, yeah, get yourself a decent soundbar. Try not to think of like, oh, I bought this television so I could watch television, but now I have to buy something else so I can hear it without going insane. This is a 6 hot dog, 8-pack of buns situation that's going on here. But this is a conspiracy for another time.
Fuckers.
To loop us back to Moon Knight, the thing that I didn't love was that his goofy persona was so inept. Like, I get it. He's super badass Batman when he's Mark Spector, and when he's Stevie Grant, he's supposed to be a putz. But damn, this dude, how does he even find his dick to pee?
This might be an American perspective, mate, because I just thought he was English.
I've wondered that about a lot of your countrymen over the years. Are they really that? Oh yeah, I guess apparently they really are that.
Yeah, they're either Hugh Grant or... no, that's it. Hugh Grant or Richard E. Grant. It's the only two types we got.
Well, we all not only have, like, you know, the incompetent, but, like, you know, because Rachel just sent us a comment saying, please be sure to drool over Oscar Isaac for us. So we also got the cliche of the hot dude who we're supposed to buy as the inept nerdy guy or nerdy person.
Oscar Isaac does all right at that because he's an accomplished actor. He's been around the block. And before he was a handsome, hunky, lantern-jawed Hollywood hero, he played creep pretty well quite a few times.
I can see that.
Yeah, he has a way of making himself looking a little bit more damp and starry-eyed than he normally does. So, you know, I think he's good at that. He pulled it off much more convincingly than the let's get this supermodel to wear some glasses that we're used to from Hollywood.
I like the damp comment. I like it. Makes me think that there's. Now I want to look at the like credits and see if there's like Oscar Isaac's personal Mister.
No, Mister's like there's an art to it, Rick. There's a difference between glistening and damp, and Oscar Isaac can switch betwixt the two.
Boy,
Yeah,
moisturize me.
Man.
The difference is glycerin versus water.
There you go. This is quite an educational podcast, I think. Sound problems, body misting problems, forgetting the name of your colleague of 6 years. We do a lot.
All right, so those who watched it, what was your overall impression? You know, good, bad?
I'm invested. I gotta say, the CGI on Moon Knight's cape, it's really hard to do with a lot of superhero things to toe the line between camp and crap. And this is the same for basically every superhero property. The more outlandish the superhero, the more effort you have to put into making it look like something that could happen in the world you're presenting. And I think the mistake of making that cape CGI at all, I don't know, didn't fill me with hope for the Moon Knight scenes to come. But I don't know, that's something I can probably ignore.
At least we get the costume, because years back when Netflix was doing their stuff, there was like a rumor that Moon Knight, they were going to get Moon Knight. And the only thing I was fearing, I was like, okay, we're going to get Moon Knight, and he is never going to put on this goddamn costume. And he's just essentially going to be walking around in like some skin-tight white outfit that makes no fucking sense.
That was Netflix back when Daredevil spent about, I don't know, 80% of his time with just some tights on his head or something. Yeah, he's just basically wearing a t-shirt and jeans and, I don't know, some kind of low-cut bandana.
Underwear.
I mean, they got there in the end.
No, they didn't. They got there in the end of the first season, and then in the third season, they basically had him say, I'm not wearing this costume anymore.
Yeah, costumes are stupid. Yeah, I get your
There were
point.
3 seasons?
Yeah.
Bullseye at the end there.
Yeah, there's 3 seasons of Daredevil, there's 3 seasons of Jessica Jones, and I think there's 2 seasons of all the rest of them.
That's right.
I don't know that well, I guess I know what I'm doing tonight. For me, for Moon Knight, I'm interested enough to watch episode 2,
Yeah, I think it'll be fun.
which is better than they did with Loki for me. I had to push to get through the first 2 episodes of Loki, and then I was like, yeah, no. Even Tom Hiddleston can't save this from Owen Wilson.
Is it completely? They're treating it as it's like completely its own thing, not part of the MCU.
I think this is their first show attempt that isn't tied to the movies in some way.
Yeah, seems that way.
It's part of the MCU, but it's not based off of like every other show has been based off of like, you know, one of the MCU characters. I mean, even Hawkeye, you know, even though it was supposed to be introducing a new Hawkeye, yeah.
Yeah, even Hawkeye was actually in the movies. Whether he needed to be there or not is another thing. But no, you're right. Yeah, I think this is the first thing where they haven't taken someone from the movies and launched a spin-off from that. This is the first time they've just taken a character and thrown us in at the deep end. Whether they'll try and weave it into the grander narrative, I don't think they will. This seems like they'll probably just have some fun with this. I hope they do anyway. It can become kind of a weakness with these things where they try and build it around a tent pole.
And that character, too, works better with less gaga floating around him. If it's just him doing his Egyptian thing, beating the shit out of people, that's cool. But then when you get 27 superheroes running around...
Yeah. There's a writer rule in Save the Cat, which is, it's not a Bible for how you should do things all the time, but it does make sense. I can't remember what it's called, but you're only allowed a certain amount of bullshit in a story before people just phase out. And Marvel's built themselves a nice platform where they can go into established bullshit wells. But I think with all that's happening on here right now, if Iron Man showed up in episode 3, it would be too much.
It's another one of those cases like Hawkeye where the power gap is between Thor and Hawkeye is so great. If you dropped Iron Man in the middle of Moon Knight, it'd be like, I'm going to punch a bunch of people and do cool martial arts things. Oh, you're going to fly in and shoot rockets out of your butthole and kill everybody. Okay.
I gotta say, I would love to watch a Marvel show like that where it's just some street level guy who's always like, you know, getting in over his head, tackling like, you know, heavy odds, and then in the last 3 minutes of the episode, Thor shows up, beats the hell out of everybody. He's like, "Oh, fancy seeing you here again." And it's just a story of this lone vigilante just slowly going insane.
I'd love to see that for DC with all the street level heroes, and it's Superman, but it's just from his point of view, and from his point of view, it's just kind of a prank show he's doing. It's like Punk'd, and he's just getting into their stories. And it's like, watch as I just render their years of training and surveillance obsolete in a flash.
He's like floating above, watching all the fights, watching, waiting for the guy to be just about to die or just about to win, and then he swoops in and saves the day.
Yeah. Like I don't know if you guys have ever been to Sean Baby's site, but he used to do like, you know, cartoons like that all the time, where it's like there's a meteor like, you know heading towards Earth. This looks like a job for a Hawkman, and then Superman's off to the side being like, yeah, I'll give him a few minutes and then I'll go actually solve this.
But speaking of human vigilantes, somebody just got Peacemaker.
You know what? I'm enjoying that. I really liked the Suicide Squad movie, and I thought Peacemaker was the most interesting character in it. He was a really interesting bad guy, because they're all stupid and they're all cartoon characters and they're all clunkish and they all had their arcs. But his arc was, no, I am professionally committed to my idea of what the right thing is. There was actually some attempt at explaining, I guess, morality and how you fight evil and what you're prepared to do to fight evil and what that even means in Suicide Squad, which it didn't need because it was a really fun movie, but I appreciate that they did it. And Peacemaker was kind of at the heart of that. So he was an interesting dickbag character to me. And I was delighted to see that he just ran out the gate still being a dickbag in the Peacemaker series. I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it.
It's really good and touches on a lot of really cool things. And I also really liked the Suicide Squad movie that featured Peacemaker, not
the
other.
one. We don't have to talk about that other one.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually we can talk about it again, just because there's got to be 3 people somewhere that liked it, and we should piss them all off. But, okay, there's 2 people somewhere that liked it, but
I think we dedicated an entire podcast to that. I believe it might be in our Mimic Chest, patrons only. If you want to hear Rick get really annoyed about the original Suicide Squad movie, head on over there. It's a good time.
and you can find that at patreon.com/authorsanddragons. That's as unshilly as our shills.
Have you got your tickets to A&D Con yet?
A&D Con? What's that, Rick?
Well, I hear it's one of the best fan conventions you could
You could ever find Authors and Dragons at.
And is that the same event that's happening at the University Hilton in Charlotte, North Carolina, the weekend right around my birthday?
You mean in August? Why? Yes,
I do mean in August.
I do believe it is.
August 19th to 21st, I believe.
If only tickets and hotels were available for it.
Maybe people should go to authorsanddragons.com and click on the link that says con and see if there's any information there where they can buy their ticket right the fuck now.
Maybe they fucking should.
And book your hotel room, because as we've learned with that specific hotel, the bellhops are impressed with the quantity of alcohol that Authors and Dragons cast can consume. I hate to think what they're going to think about what our fans consume.
And to bring it back around, unlike the first Suicide movie, we don't fuck around with PG-13.
And their staff will not give you shit if you fall backwards down the escalator.
They also will not help you. They won't catch
Please
you.
do not fall backwards down the escalator. But do come to the convention.
Or forward down the escalator.
I'm just saying that for legal purposes. I mean, like, secretly, I don't give a shit what you do. But, you know.
I was just directing that at Bob because we're going to need him all weekend.
Oh, yeah. Well, he can do it on the Sunday night.
I fell down the escalator. I was back and ready to go.
He's a
You're a couple
professional.
of years older now, bud.
Takes more than an escalator to stop me.
Yeah, I used to say it takes more than walking down a street to stop me. But last September and 12 broken bones later.
In September, we're all gathered around a headstone that basically reads, "It only took an escalator."
I was going to say, it takes more than an escalator to stop me. It takes a flight of stairs.
I'm a bit worried now because I often do just kind of strut down the street saying to myself, it takes more than walking down the street to stop me. And I've been right 100% of the time so far. I guess that's going to catch up with me one day. I shouldn't be so arrogant.
Can confirm.
Speaking of hubris, yeah, Peacemaker.
John Cena's turning into a fantastic actor.
He's really good.
Not in the sense that he's like Sidney Poitier or anything, but
He's perfectly
knows
suited
his
for the
roles.
character, yeah. He doesn't have to be anything more than what he's doing. The fact that he looks the way he does probably saved him millions in special effects. The guy's he's a walking cartoon character of muscle. He looks like a superhero. They don't really have to try. They've put him in the dumbest costume they have, and he still looks like a credible threat. I wouldn't unfurl my dastardly criminal plans around that guy.
I saw some interviews with him when they were debuting Peacemaker, and he talked about how many helmets he stole from shooting. And then he found out there was a season 2, and he's like, I guess I gotta bring the helmets back.
Well, no one's going to ask him to do that, John. He's a huge man. He'll probably keep the helmets.
Well, also he does so many Make-A-Wish Foundation appearances. You know, who's going to be like, no, you can't wear a helmet to like see terminally ill children. Nobody wants to be that bad guy.
That's true.
We're talking about Hollywood movie producers here.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. They make publishers look ethical.
I was going to say, I'd do it just for the press.
Fantasy author steals helmet from professional wrestler, gets thrown down escalator for his troubles.
Fancy author steals Make-A-Wish child from professional wrestler.
There you go. You know, if you're gonna go for it, go for it.
Kid wakes up tied to a chair in a dark room. Bob steps up. I'm your Make-A-Wish now.
Don't worry, John Cena's gonna rescue you. This is gonna be great.
Wow, I had the opportunity to go to a horror literature con this weekend, and I didn't. And look, one came right to me. Jesus, Bob tying kids to chairs.
Yeah, but it's gonna be cool. There's a payoff.
If John Cena rescued that kid, yeah, that kid's gonna thank me. After John Cena beats the shit out of me.
Assuming you don't end up being like shaking a kid on the shoulder. He's like, kid, come on. I know you're faking. Well, guess I gotta get another one.
That's gonna be us shaking Bob after one shot from John Cena.
All of us waiting at the bottom of that escalator.
Bevan knew what he was getting into. Anyway, back to Peacemaker, the TV show. I gotta say, I like James Gunn. He's good at what he does. He knows his material and he knows how to land it. He knows how to do irreverence with kind of selling the concept. He can be irreverent about the situation without selling out the concept too much. Again, towing that line between camp and crap in his own way. One thing that really annoys me about his writing is he puts a lot of faith into somebody saying fuck or flipping someone the bird. And I'm like, how long you've been doing this, man? You need to escalate that shit. You either need to move on to the C word or, just do something a bit more interesting. I'd say that's the only thing that annoyed me about Peacemaker.
Well, you're in for a rough 7 more episodes.
Yeah. I mean, it's James Gunn. I know what I'm getting into, but I'm just thinking you've been James Gunn for a while now. You can mix this up a bit. You can be a bit hire someone in just to go through your script, and every time you say fuck or somebody flips someone the bird as a punchline, just do something. There are other hand gestures. There are other dirty words. That's all I'm saying. Just mix it up a little bit. I love chocolate, but sometimes I want some peanut butter in there. That was my only criticism.
As usual, I got nothing. I can't follow Steve. Fuck. I feel like Little Richard standing off stage watching Jerry Lee Lewis kick a piano into the orchestra pit and set it on fire. Oh, I gotta follow that.
Well, speaking of chocolate and peanut butter, which have their sweetness but are inherently dark and bitter, did anybody see the new Batman movie?
I have not. I haven't been to the movies in a long time.
Couple of years.
Understandable.
Well,
I haven't yet. Is it on HBO Max yet?
I think I don't know.
It's doing pretty damn well, so I don't think it's going to be on streaming for a while.
I don't need any more Batmans. I've had enough Batmans. I like Batman.
I like Batman. You know what? I thought I'd have enough Batmans as well, but the Batman, worth seeing. They took it in I was about to say an interesting new direction, but it's still a fucking Batman movie.
His parents lived?
He lived, and he's just a well-adjusted dude who likes bats. And that was it.
It's the Batman. He runs a bat sanctuary.
I gotta say something I never thought I'd say on anything recorded. I like Robert Pattinson as an actor.
Oh, I do.
He's got chops.
Yeah, but I started a whole career mocking Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
I was riding the anti-sparkly vampire wave for the first several years I was publishing.
He's a big proponent of the anti-sparkly wave because apparently he hates that entire movie series.
And he is not the first. In fact, it's more or less a running trend. You get the pretty boy actor who breaks out as the pretty boy actor. They inevitably move on to doing cool and interesting stuff, and that's what Robert Pattinson has done.
There's a really good movie that's a Netflix original with him and Tom Holland about this psycho backwoods preacher in the hills of Kentucky, I think. And no, I have no idea what it's called, and I'm not going to look it up because I don't give that much of a shit. But it was really good, and his performance there, it really reminded me a lot of Joaquin Phoenix, who I think is a fantastic actor.
The thing about the Batman, I do want to see the Batman. The thing that intrigues me about it is like I've heard that his Bruce Wayne is very much the weirdo in a way that often isn't really explored. Like, because we tend to get Bruce Wayne the the playboy rather than Bruce Wayne, the guy who's learning how to be Batman. So he's just kind of a freak.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's Bruce Wayne is normally the disguise, and that's absolutely not the case in the Batman. Again, spoilers if you haven't seen the Batman, the latest Batman, not a Batman, the Batman. Please do cover your ears or whatever it is you do. And yeah, his Bruce Wayne is a much more kind of less a counterpoint to the Batman and more I guess a realistic component of it. Because this Batman, it does really well. It gives you all the kind of criminal punching and car chases, and the gadgets are a little bit more low-tech and less flamboyant for the most part. And the story itself is a lot more street-level than most Batman movies. It feels like something like the movie Seven, but it's Batman walking around doing actual detective work. And that sounds stupid, but they make it work.
At the end, does he open up a case and find Alfred's head in it?
There's some gritty stuff. No, that doesn't happen, but there is some surprisingly gritty stuff. They create a Gotham that's nasty enough and sharp enough that when this guy walks around in a bat suit, you don't think it's that weird.
in all fairness, if you were to hang out in New York City and somebody just stepped out of an alleyway in a Batman suit, you really probably would not think twice about it.
No, you just look at the guy and say, "No, I don't want to take a picture with you. No, I'm not giving you $5. Fuck off.
Give me $5. Also, a great cast all round, really.
Who else is in it?
Zoe Kravitz as Selina Kyle. She is
I love her.
Really great Catwoman, a really kind of feasibly grounded Catwoman as well.
That's what I've heard of, yeah.
Also, Colin Farrell as the Penguin. A really good character performance, because he does not look like Colin Farrell at all. And you never think you're looking at a guy wearing a shit ton of makeup at any point. He's just really good. The chap they got to play the Riddler, he sounds a little bit like Lemongrad a lot of the time, but oddly that works. And most people would have known by now that there is a surprise appearance from the Joker, which probably didn't need to be in the movie.
I watched that on YouTube, that cut scene, and a lot of people didn't like that, but I kind of like that version.
Yeah, what you're seeing is, to put it in context, I watched the movie and then it was basically an after credits sequence. It was just spoiler alert. Everyone cover your ears right now. At the end of it, Joker's in Arkham Asylum, and you're supposed to go, "Oh, it's the Joker. The sequel's going to have the Joker in it." But originally, there was supposed to be a scene in the middle of the movie with the Joker already being in Arkham Asylum, and it was kind of Batman visiting him in a kind of Hannibal Lecter, Jodie Foster kind of scenario, which, had it been left in the movie, probably would have worked and been very cool, but it's already a very long movie. So I'm just going to stick with, they didn't really need to fuck with a Joker in there.
Did they do Joaquin Phoenix Joker or Jared Leto Joker or a whole different Joker?
Oh, God.
Doing their own thing. I'd say closest to Heath Ledger's Joker from the performance. I guess there's a proto-Joker that everybody thinks of when they think of the Joker, which is probably the animated 90s series Joker, let's be fair.
It's Mark Hamill, Mark Hamill is the iconic Joker at this point.
Mine's still Jack Nicholson.
Because I'm old. Because Jack Nicholson's the Joker to me.
I was gonna say, if they're gonna throw Jared Leto in that movie, it should just be a quick, Batman chase, doing a car chase, accidentally runs him over. What was that? Oh, no, I don't know.
Some Joker. The Batman, everybody's saying, we don't need a grittier Batman. I think we did. It was better storytelling. It was clever. It was just moody and well-paced and rainy and claustrophobic at some point.
Batman for a movie usually works better the grittier you go, because when they try to go goofy like Joel Schumacher and stuff, it's kind of painful.
Yeah, I mean, it was always on the verge of being maudlin and adolescent and navel-gazing, which is very easy to do with Batman. But I don't know, it styled it out. It was cleverer than it needed to be. Every time they've done a Batman movie, I'm like, I don't need another fucking Batman. So I appreciate anyone who's kind of on that level, but no, this worked. As a movie, it really worked, and I'm looking forward to a follow-up in the same style.
Well, there probably will be. I mean, whenever a Batman movie does well, they try to make a trilogy out of it.
That's true.
Damn it, I'll probably watch this now.
You should. It was good fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Sorry.
I'm sure I'll watch it. I just don't know that I'm going to put on pants to do it.
Well, a lot of people have been kind of hitting back at the new depressing Batman and going back to the 1989 one. And I'd quite fancy doing that. I haven't seen that movie in a while. Because in its day, that was they're doing a dark and gritty Batman with Michael Keaton for some reason.
And Beetlejuice as Batman with Tim Burton directing.
I just got a little bit of trivia. In England, they had to invent a new rating system for when Batman was released, because obviously it was a Batman movie and all the children wanted to see it. But it was a Batman movie with Jack Nicholson getting dunked in a vat of acid. So they invented the now common 12 rating in our country. We used to have PG 15, 18, and we had PG 12, 15, 18.
Huh.
Apparently the reason why Michael Keaton didn't return for Batman Forever was because he saw Joel Schumacher's kind of more campy approach and was like, no, I'm not doing this.
That's fair.
Probably a wise choice.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Yeah, because we didn't need Michael Keaton bat nipples.
Well, when they did the first Joel Schumacher, what was that?
Batman Forever.
Batman Forever.
Yeah.
That was a huge cinematic event, and it was
I saw it in
very
theaters. I remember.
Yeah, and it was a massive media event, and it was nearly. You could have tolerated it. It was like, okay, this is fun. This is campy. We can go with this. And then they did Batman and Robin. It was like, oh no, what have we done? Why did we let this madman continue? Ironically, some costume vigilante should have stopped him.
Yeah, it took God, I can't remember his name now. Chris whatchamacallit, the guy that played Robin. Took him a long time to get over that stinker. He's done all right now on NCIS Los Angeles, but
I think there's a fan somewhere who once a year just like drops off a Robin mask in his in his mailbox just to remind him.
Okay.
You're that fan, aren't
You
you
used to be a movie
you will
star.
never live down that shit.
Now you're on NCSI Los Angeles.
And CSI.
All right, we've talked about the current exciting crop of new superhero products that are out, but let us look to the future. Has anybody seen the trailers for the next Marvel Enterprises, which is, I believe, Miss Marvel and She-Hulk?
I've heard that they both look good.
I am very excited for Ms. Marvel.
I saw the marvelous Miss Maisel.
That's not it. That's not the same thing.
Yep.
Slightly different.
But I hear also good.
I didn't like season
I've heard good
2.
things. You prefer Bridgerton, don't you, Bob?
I don't watch that shit.
I do.
Yeah, I think the only reason I'm excited for Miss Marvel, I thought it kind of looked, I don't know, it looked like it was supposed to be set in the past or something. I don't know what was odd to me about the trailer. But she's another one of those characters that have had a kind of rebooted origin story and power set quite a lot. And I did notice in the trailer she's wielding some powers that I did not think she had. So I'm kind of looking forward to this being... I'd rather be introduced to the character properly through television. I think the only time I picked up a comic was when she was starting, I think, the New Defenders, and the premise of her starting New Defenders was they all got involved with a fight, and then the Avengers didn't clear up after themselves afterwards because they have professional companies to do that. And Miss Marvel was like, you guys need to do better, and formed her own team. And I thought, I don't want to be involved with this. And I never picked up a comic book again.
Well,
It's kind of a sad story.
this ain't that.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping it's not.
Oh, it won't be anything close. This one is it started off of the Kelly Sue DeConnick run of Ms. Marvel from a few years back, which is excellent. But they have kind of blended, it looks like they've kind of blended pieces of one of the old Captain Marvel origin stories with the cosmic bands, the bracelets that give her powers, as opposed, because in the comics she's an inhuman and a cloud of Terrigen mist goes over the whole world, and anyone who is an inhuman develops powers. You know, the entire premise of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
We're definitely not doing the Inhumans anymore.
Yeah, but I think Marvel's looking at that shitty Inhumans series they put out and be like, we're just going to wait a while before. Yeah, we're going to pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. But they're taking the same character of Kamala Khan and putting her, just giving her cosmic bands. And I feel like it's going to have a lot of the Tom Holland Spider-Man flavor in that they're young, they're kind of goofy, and a little charming and sweet. But
while also making lots of dumb mistakes because they're young and charming.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as it doesn't start with a group of bratty teenagers having a go at the Falcon version of Captain America for not repairing a food truck after they saved the world, I'll be fine. If it starts like that, I will not be watching it, just as I did not follow that comic book story.
But also, it lays more groundwork for a Young Avengers movie, because we've now seen a lot of the characters in the Young Avengers comic. We've seen Isaiah Bradley's grandson, we've seen Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, and now we've got Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel. So
I've got to say, Young Avengers, fine, but just give it to me 5 years down the line when I'm dead.
Yeah, I'll admit I don't give a shit about Young Avengers. It's like,
I understand there's a property there; it's well established.
I would sooner see the Great Lakes Avengers.
Yeah, that's more my speed. I've read the Young Avengers. It's fine. They're all derivative characters, and you can use them to try and to appeal to whatever it is young people like. I don't know, eating ass or whatever. But I don't care.
See, I loved Young Avengers. I'm a sucker for teenage superhero teams. New Mutants was my jam back in the 80s, and I liked that movie too.
Oh, I don't know. I think the only time I really like teenage superheroes is when the Joker's beating them to death with a crowbar.
See, I am a big fan of Young Justice.
Yeah,
Young Justice. The animated series in particular is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, it's really good. And I like Titans.
Yeah, Titans is pretty good.
I like Titans too, but I'm kind of with Steve in that, I didn't need like an entire season of Jason Todd as an asshole.
Well, if we're talking about Teen Titans Go, then my opinion changes entirely.
No, we're talking about Titans.
Oh, well, I'll watch Teen Titans Go.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just trying to include Bevan here.
Thanks.
Yeah, I don't really care about young superheroes. And I guess because...
So you're saying that the She-Hulk trailer was way more your speed?
No, I actually thought the Ms. Marvel trailer was better because we've just gotten teasers for She-Hulk. But I mean, show-wise, I'm probably looking more forward to She-Hulk.
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked the character of She-Hulk. And people say Marvel's got used to have a problem with female superheroes. They don't. They've got loads of great superheroes. The problem is that a lot of them are derivatives or on teams. But She-Hulk was always, even though she's a derivative, she's not very much like the Hulk at all. She was always like really glamorous and self-aware and sarcastic and funny, whilst being able to, throw people through a building. And I always thought it'd be pretty cool to have basically Ally McBeal, but with superpowers, and also the body of an 80s bodybuilder. But I've heard that there's some creative differences going on, which is usually studio code for we have fucked this.
That's a shame. I haven't heard any of
Yeah.
that. I just heard Angie Harmon was really disappointed because she apparently really wanted to play that part and would be fucking fantastic in that part. So hopefully the young woman that they have playing it can hang.
Yeah, then if they haven't got somebody who is basically built like a pro wrestler, I don't know. They've wasted an opportunity.
Well, no, I mean, I understand that, but at the same time, I mean, Mark Ruffalo isn't in bad shape, but I mean, he's definitely not. I mean, it's all CGI at this point.
I don't, for the TV show, I don't think that's great. I'd rather just see somebody who is in fantastic shape and just slide the color palette up a bit so she looks emerald. But I know what you mean. But
the thing I like about her character is I think it gives potentially more range if they want to move her into the movies. Because I mean, I don't get me wrong. I mean, Mark Ruffalo in Thor Ragnarok was just awesome, and I think he was awesome because most of the time he was Mark Ruffalo, not necessarily the Hulk.
Yeah.
Now I can't remember, is the She-Hulk's alter ego a defense attorney or a prosecutor? Because I want to see She-Hulk versus Daredevil in the courtroom and fighting outside.
I was watching the trailer and like they showed like a quick clip of Matt Murdock, but I wasn't sure if it was just a fan made trailer or not because I was like,
I think it was.
Yeah, that sucks.
I think I saw that same one.
At this point, after Hawkeye and Far From Home, they'd be idiots not to. Even if they just put Foggy Nelson in there, why wouldn't you build that bridge?
And Karen Page. I mean, when we left Daredevil, she wasn't working for Nelson and Murdoch, so maybe she can be Jennifer Walters' paralegal.
You didn't see season 3.
I did not.
But
I keep forgetting there was a season 3.
See, that would be great. Like, her just facing up against like Matt Murdock, and she just corners him and be like, not only am I a better attorney than you, but I can kick Daredevil's ass.
And Daredevil will be like, yeah, if you can hit me.
No, I always liked She-Hulk. I always liked the comics. I always liked how winking at the camera. Not a lot of people know this, but she was doing the Deadpool shtick way before Deadpool was. The whole breaking the fourth wall thing. That was a She-Hulk thing. And not just breaking the fourth wall casually, Ferris Bueller style, but like naming writers and things and calling out the reader for looking at her tits was a good one for me. But
she had one where like she tried to show her cousin, like she's like, look, there's people out there and they're watching us, and he's like, maybe you should seek help for this.
Yeah, she was a fun character. They've done a lot of fun things with She-Hulk. It's just she never, I guess, cycled into the spotlight as she should have. So I had high hopes for a She-Hulk series. I've been saying that for a few years now. I am a little bit distressed at this news of creative differences. Quote unquote, we made a really bad program.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
It's just disappointing.
But this is 3 new shows, none of which came from the movies. Moon Knight was the first, like you said, but we haven't seen She-Hulk or Ms. Marvel in the movies. So,
well, I think again we do sometimes forget how massively escalating this has been. When I said earlier that Moon Knight has got a fuckery license that most other programs would never have, just because of this huge pyramid that Marvel has built, this huge fuckery pyramid. It's great. And now we're kind of at the stage where DC can do it as well, even though they don't have that foundation anymore. They're going to do like a Flash movie that's going to have the Michael Keaton Batman movie in it. And they don't have to put the groundwork in because everyone's just watched Far From Home and went, oh yeah, that's right, we can do what the fuck we want. It's a movie. And that's all thanks to Marvel. That's been like a 10, 15 year project.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, there's that cohesion. Like,
Yeah.
you can sit down and like invite friends over and be like, we're just gonna get stoned and watch and watch phase 1, 2, and 3 of Marvel for this weekend. Whereas DC, they're all kind of like standalone stuff. If you try to do that, well, ignoring the fact that you'll probably murder the people you're in the room once you get past through Batman versus Superman, it doesn't work.
I'm not saying at all that they've done it right, because they absolutely haven't. But what I'm saying is they can do a Suicide Squad movie, which effectively takes a characters from another Suicide Squad movie that they pretend doesn't exist and make a perfectly good movie. They can just do that now. We're kind of like, yeah, we're all on board. We realize that these are properties that you can use as you wish. And we probably don't need the ladder that Marvel built, because Marvel built that ladder and it brought it all into the mainstream. So bring on the fuckery.
Yeah, at this point, DC's got like 15 different Batman universes all running at the same time.
And at this point, the movie side of things is going to be just as disjointed and clusterfucky as the comics have been for 40 years. So yay!
I was gonna say one of the things that that has kind of held consistently through, at least from my experience, it's been that like Marvel is generally ruling the movie sphere for superheroes, but like DC continues to utterly kick ass at the animation.
Oh,
and
yeah.
for a while there, DC's TV shows were really good.
Yeah.
To me, that's as much as I love the animated DC programs. The 90s Batman was ideal, and the 90s Justice League was ideal. I didn't really need a cinematic movie universe from DC. But for me, it's always never the twain shall meet. It's like when people start talking about Star Wars and Boba Fett came in, it's like, oh, well, have you watched the cartoon series? It's like, no, sorry. If it's animated, it's a different universe, and you can fuck off.
I was having that conversation this past weekend, and somebody was telling me, oh, well, you've got to go back and watch Clone Wars and Rebels, and now you need to watch Bad Blood, Bad Breed. And I was like, no.
I'm not sure if this is because I got put off so badly as a child with the Droids cartoon, but it basically just had C-3PO and R2-D2 in a universe that was nothing like Star Wars, searching for their master, because they couldn't say the name Luke Skywalker because they didn't pay for that shit. And I think that might have soured cartoon universes for me for life. So if there's a great cartoon series and a great movie series, that's great, but don't try and tell me they're the same timeline, because my brain will not accept it.
Yeah.
Also, there are things you can do cheaply and easily in an animated series that are going to cost you $87 bajillion in TV or movies.
True.
Yeah, it's like you're watching the movie or the show, and suddenly you turn on the cartoon, and it's infinitely cooler because of all those things you can do in animation.
Yeah,
and that just leaves you bitter.
But I will say for DC, it's, again, like the comic books, you can be reading a Batman run, and then they can just do something completely different for a little while. And I really liked the Joker movie, but I thought that would be a shit Batman movie. I don't want to see that integrated into the Batman universe. What's he going to do? Just beat up a weeping Joaquin Phoenix for 90 minutes?
I was going to say the intriguing theory of the Joker is that in like 15 years or so, there's going to be, young Bruce, young Batman beating the shit out of a geriatric Joaquin Phoenix.
Just this 70-year-old in a home, just smashes through the window and beats the shit. I mean, I'd watch it and I'd enjoy it, but I'm not saying it's good.
There's just that alternate universe where, the Joker is the 70-year-old man.
He's just sitting there with an oxygen tank, just staring at nothing. And they're not even Batman. Just Bruce Wayne just runs up and punches him in the face.
Back in my day, we didn't need fancy costumes to burn Gotham.
God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Bruce Wayne just, as Batman is just some guy.
Oh, it'd be great. Just get Jonah Hill to play Bruce Wayne. And he's not a vigilante, he's just a very distressed millionaire orphan with some issues. Actually, I'd take it back. I want to see this made canon.
Yeah, I'm kind of here for that. I hadn't thought about it much, but there are 3 complete current Batman universes. There's the animated stuff, which everybody remembers and loves. Then there's Gotham, and then there's whatever movie they're releasing this year.
Gotham's
Gotham
perfect. Yeah.
Gotham was so good.
Well, it got good. It started out like shit.
It's a perfect example of the war between camp and crap and tap dancing on that razor thin line for 8 seasons or whatever.
The thing I appreciated about Gotham is, despite the fact that it was a Batman prequel, it was like I would sit down to watch an episode of Gotham, and I was always like, what the fuck are they going to do this week? I was generally unable to predict Gotham.
Joe, I think the writers were in the same boat as you. Just coming into the writer room, everyone going, what the fuck are we going to do, man?
Yeah, I think I dropped out like right before it got good. I think I made it through 3 seasons before I was like, enough of this shit. They're just
its last seasons were good, and I think part of that is that they just completely embraced what they were.
Kind of
This
like
is just
Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
They were like, fuck it, they're going to cancel us any minute. Let's just do whatever the hell we want.
They had that vibe for the entire season. It's like, aha, well, we'll set up this ridiculous cliffhanger. There's no way we're getting to season 3. Then 8 seasons later, they're just shaking wrecks. Going, why did they keep making us do this? Which god did I anger? But they had Sean Pertwee as Alfred. He was fucking brilliant. Corey Michael Smith as the Riddler is still the best Riddler.
He was
not
amazing.
wrong. Oh my god.
He was amazing. He was a fantastic Riddler.
And that Penguin.
Yeah,
God, that actor.
I mean, that was a choice, but he was good.
I will say I like their proto Joker. That
Oh yeah.
He played 3 really good versions of the Joker, and they were all doing this on shitty TV budget. There was not a lot of money pumped into that.
It was like $27 an episode or some shit.
Yeah, I get the feeling that certain seasons had more cash than other seasons, but for that guy to come in and be 3 versions of the Joker on that, I don't know, maybe they should have moved these guys into the cinematic universe and actually gave them a budget and a writing team that, had a chance to calm the fuck down.
I think his name is Cameron Monaghan, who played the 3 versions of the Joker. And the thing that is like said, I remember the first episode he was in, and they actually pulled one over on me. I did not see it coming who he was. And the second he did the laugh, I was like, Jesus, that's the first time I've really like believed a Joker laugh since Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a good job. Although I gotta say, I'm just sick of superhero prequels because at this point it just comes down. It just strikes me as, okay, we're gonna do like before Krypton explodes, because therefore we can tell you all about this stuff without having to actually talk about the character you give a shit about.
Without having to figure out how to write the fucking thing.
That's where Gotham had to kind of have a word with itself, because it was a prequel and it was like, oh, we can have all these tantalizing kind of, I guess, lead-ins to characters that will be part of the... I think they put that Edward Nygma guy in there. I don't think they ever intended to have him as the Riddler, because I don't think they ever intended to make more than a pilot episode of this show. But so I think they were kind of like, they put themselves in that box and they were constantly fighting it until they decided, you know what, we're our own timeline. Let's just fucking.
But the only thing about that just struck me, it was the same thing as like the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, is that it pretty much said Batman's just running around beating up old people.
Yeah, all these compelling characters are, retiring by the time he comes back from wherever he went to train. Yeah, they actually dealt with that. I think they had they kind of transversed into the very campy 60s Batman universe with the way the Joker and the Riddler went at the end, which I appreciated. But no, Gotham was constantly... It was like watching somebody about to jump off a building who never quite did. So I appreciate it for that, because it was both really shit and really camp in some places, with little moments of desperate genius by a really dedicated and charismatic cast.
And Sean Pertwee.
Yeah. And also what I always loved about it,
Great.
if you watch the opening credits where Gotham, the words come up, and then the camera goes between the words and it looks like it's saying, "Got ham," and I laughed every time that happened. And you know what? About season 6, they fixed it so it stopped doing that. And I thought, these motherfuckers have seen me making fun of them on the internet, and they changed that, as they should. Yeah, so that's my little contribution to pop culture. I'm taking full credit for that.
Yeah, you ruined the ham sandwich for everybody. Thanks, pal.
At least I
Gonna be this. What's for lunch?
Okay, well we've discussed exciting upcoming superhero endeavors. I'll probably watch Miss Marvel and She-Hulk, and I'll probably enjoy it. I'm definitely going to watch the rest of Peacemaker. And here's hoping for another The Batman.
I can't wait to hear your thoughts about the fucked upness that is Peacemaker, because as weird and batshit insane as episode 1 is, they've got 5 more gears. They're gonna hit light speed fucked up by the time it's all said and done.
Good to hear.
I think that's all we're gonna spoil for you.
It's everything, yeah. Should have said earlier, if you haven't watched Got Ham yet, spoiler alert, there's no ham in it. I don't think there's a single instance of ham in that entire series. So,
Well, count me out.
did they ever get ham?
I just know what I'm ordering on my pizza later tonight.
That should have been the final shot. Batman standing there, just sitting down to Christmas dinner. I finally got ham.
I would have been unsurprised by that, and also satisfied. It was a wacky show. But anyway, enough superhero nonsense. You've all got lives to get back to, listeners. Kind of, maybe, possibly.
One hopes.
Yeah, one hopes.
Well, if nothing else, you need to go to authorsanddragons.com and click on Con and order your tickets and reserve your room for Authors and Dragons Con in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Some fucking weekend in August that I can never remember.
Would you like to watch us get drunk and ruin movies in real time? Come to Authors and Dragons Con 2022, August 19th through 21st.
Yes.
Tickets available now at www.gotham.com. I mean,
Buy enough drinks for Steve and hand him some packaged ham there, and he'll put on a show.
just a fistful of pocket ham.
Just yeah, that's the shit.
Like Joe's Pocket Nuggets.
Pocket nuggets, man. That's where it's at.
I think about you and Pocket Nuggets every time I wear a hoodie, which is most days for the past 5 months.
I'm so glad you said wear a hoodie. I thought you were going to say something much worse there.
I didn't have time to think up anything.
Anyway.
Yep. Anyway.
That belongs in the mind of the listener now. Thank you, listener. We'll see you next time on Side Quest. Bye-bye.
Bye.